Hello, people of the world. Welcome to this program. My name is Bakar King Conte. Today, I'm here to give you an update on the fiber optic in Sierra Leone. And previously, a couple of years ago, I did the first interview with the managing director of fiber optic, and that information is on YouTube. So now I went to Sierra Leone again in order to get an update to know how far we have gone with the fiber optic, and I had the opportunity again to have an exclusive interview with the managing director of SALCAB, that's the fiber optic station in Lumley, Mr. Mohamed Sheriff. Hello, Mr. Sheriff. We are here in order to get update about the fiber optic. First of all, I would like you to tell the people who you are and what is your status in fiber optic.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bakar King. I know you're a superstar around the world because you've been helping Sierra Leone disseminate all the news about the fiber and a lot of other activities outside in diaspora. I appreciate your work and I think you've been doing a very good job.
Thank you, sir.
My name, as you know, is Mohamed Sheriff and I'm the Managing Director of the Sierra Leone Cable Limited, which is commonly known as SALCAB. SALCAB is a government infrastructure company set up to manage all of the fiber infrastructure in the country, including the submarine cable. And as you know, in my last interview with you, we dealt with the submarine cable.
Yes, sir.
So today, I am going to tell you about what the government of Sierra Leone has done so far as fiber is concerned in the country. Let me first start with the fact that, have you seen when you came back, I think you've been to Sierra Leone many times after our previous recording.
Yes, sir.
And each time you came, you see that there are more people on WhatsApp.
Yes, sir.
Or Viber.
Yeah.
Have you ever received a call on WhatsApp from Sierra Leone while you're in Belgium?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Do you know of anybody in the diaspora that has received calls from any of the social media platforms?
Yes, I do know a lot of people.
Okay. So what I'm trying to show here is that with the landing of the fiber, we now have ordinary Sierra Leoneans being able to afford internet on their phone, and by so doing save themselves money, because when they call their relatives abroad, they no longer have to go stand in long queues or use very expensive IDD lines to call. They can now use their social media to communicate easily with their friends within and outside of the country as well. So this is the initial benefit of the fiber. A lot of people, what people really don't know is that every mobile company or every internet service provider in the country is using the fiber optic.
Yes, sir.
And what they are doing is we sell capacity to them, and they use that capacity to sell bundles or packages to their subscribers. And in so doing, internet penetration is steadily increasing in the country. When we first landed the fiber, we were only using about 1/4 of our 1/6 of our capacity. Now we're using more than 60% in terms of what we have. And as a company, what we've done is we've also increased the bandwidth that Sierra Leone will need eventually. Before, we had 52 STM1s for the whole country, which translates into about 6 gig. By December of this year, because SALCAB has paid close to $500,000 to the ACE consortium, the African Coast to Europe consortium, we're going to have over 400 STM1s, which is a huge capacity that we might probably not finish in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, we still have some gaps, and those gaps, initially, you don't just land the submarine cable. You need to also ensure that you have a backbone, a fiber backbone throughout the country. The aim of the backbone is to make sure that you could provide services like triple play, voice, video, data, VVD, and even gaming.
Okay.
So you can do fiber to the home, fiber to the business, fiber to the premise, and whatever it is, of course I'm saying home and premise pretty much the same. But the advantage of that is that you increase the speed. So you're starting from a high lane, maybe you have 20 lanes coming to the country. And then if you go into the country, you only have 1 or 2 lanes, you have congestion. Or things may not be as fast as they're supposed to be. And as we move in the evolution of the mobile phone or telecommunications, or what people may say ICT, information communication technology, speed becomes essential. Now you have applications that are rich in structure, so they will need to use more bandwidth in order to give you the clarity and quality that you'll be looking for. Let's say you're doing HD movie. If you're looking at you're watching a HD movie on your handheld device, if that handheld device is not capable of supporting HD, the clarity of your picture will be less. And the consumers nowadays are so savvy, they don't want to go through that. So what we've done as a country is to ensure that the operators are able to do fiber to their BTS, that's their base stations. If they are able to do fiber to their base stations, they increase the capacity of their capacity and also even the quality. Now when it rains with microwave, you have issues, even with the DSTV we have in the country. As a matter of fact, there is a common acronym Sierra Leoneans call DSTV. They call it dry season television. And that's because during the rainy season, because of the disturbances or the distortions and just the weather, the rain, the links that are supposed to maintain the continuous and contiguous connection are disturbed. So you have problems. But with the fiber, that doesn't happen. So what we've done is the government of Sierra Leone, through the president, Dr. Anas Kroma, in his wisdom, decided that they should initiate 2 projects. The first project was the ECO1 project. It's an ECOWAS-wide project that is supported by the Islamic Development Bank. That project is now completed, and we are in the process of trying to sign off on the project so that basically the handing overs will be done. So the capability of this network is that it will allow operators, instead of using microwave links, they will now be using fiber to transport their services for their subscribers on the fiber, thereby improving the quality. And like in Sierra Leone, always you see people, when you call someone, you're even closer to them and they tell you, oh, the person is out of coverage area. So all of that with the fiber is going to be gone. All right?
All right. So, Mr. Sheriff, recently we did a talk with the Minister of Information and Communication to check out the fiber optic. Can you just explain to us briefly what this tour was all about and who were there?
Okay. Normally when you have a project of any nature where you have a supplier that has a scope of work, and so what you do is at the end of the work you go back to do some inspection, even if you have a private company doing it, but you as the customer has to verify that some of these things that they've built were built to standard. So the Minister of Information and Communication, Mr. Mohamed Bangura, being new on the job, wanted to see some of these fiber projects. He was very impressed with some of it, some areas, and there were some areas where we believe that some amendments need to be done, and we conveyed that message to the suppliers, and we're currently working on that. But what I want to assure Sierra Leoneans is that the fiber infrastructure, the backbone that has been built for Sierra Leone, is as good as any other one anywhere. We have DWDM technology, that's dense wave divisional multiplexing technology, and which means in terms of transport we have 10 gigs on each of these networks, so we can pass any traffic that we want in this country. There'll be no limitation in terms of providing triple play or quadruple play. So we are moving into an era where even for the digital migration, the network that has been constructed has achieved maybe 80 to 90% of our digital readiness. Now, we visited a few of the places we visited were Jue, where we have the NOC, the Network Operating Center. We also visited the Mashaka ADM site, that's the add and drop multiplexing site. And then we visited Berry Junction, Lunge site, where we have a co-location of the ADM site with Seratel in the Seratel building close to the airport. We also visited Lunsar, Makeni, and Mashimbi. I mean, the networks goes all the way from Freetown to the Liberian border on the south and to the Guinean border, Balamuya, taking the northern axis. And also in terms of the Kono axis, we have the Huawei backbone is also there all the way to Ferenbaya and most of the northern cities, including Lunsar, Makeni, Mashaka, and so forth, Potloko, and so forth. So, in essence, we're now ready to fully plunge into the digital age. I want to guarantee everyone, I was just showing you my office here. I can just show you, I no longer watch CNN on cable television, but I watch CNN on my smart TV, and there is no buffering, and so I'm just going to show you. So I have apps here on my computer, and I choose the station that I want to listen to, and you see it's loading BBC, and what you see, BBC is loading now the news, and it's showing me the list of news. So I'll now decide to watch anyone that I want. So let's say I want to listen in on this Egypt here. Oh, I'm sorry, I was going back through. Let me go to the home, and then I come to this Egypt here. So I can watch that, conveniently, and it's loading.
As more victims' families head for Cairo, the question remains, was this an accident or something more sinister?
It's very good. So every Sierra Leonean is going to be able to enjoy
the aircraft was an Airbus A320. So if you've ever flown, the chances are you've flown on one of these. It's one of the most common planes on Earth.
So that is just the application of what this fiber is going to do for us. So I used my office as a test bed for some of these products, and so that I'll be able to tell consumers that, the era of having dry season television or DSTV, no pun intended against DSTV. I know they've been doing very well in the country. They've been giving us the opportunity to watch international stations. But what's going to happen with the fiber, we'll be having other mediums now where we can also be able to watch international stations. And for learning in particular, I can tell you here, let me just use my TV again as an example. I can now go here, I'll go to a site. So on my television, here again, I go to the World Wide Web. So here I can put, let me see where the cursor is. I'm just trying to see where the focus is. Or maybe I think I should do open courseware.
can even access online courses.
Yes, online education.
Online education
materials. Here, let me just. Good. So MIT open course here.
Okay.
So you have Sierra Leoneans will be able to, our students will now be able to get access to educational materials that they never even had the opportunity to get access to. Yeah. So you can see look, this shows you the number of, you have so many courses available to you. You see? So you can just do whatever you want. You can take a course.
So basically, you are saying everything now is accessible through the fiber optic.
Exactly. Through the fiber optic, because of the speed, you didn't see any buffering.
Yeah.
What you will now see is our children will now have access to first-class educational materials that are available across the world.
Okay.
That they never had access to before the dawn of the fiber in the country.
Okay.
Because the internet was very slow, and by bandwidth being very expensive, it's been difficult for the kids to even access it. I'm sorry that we took some time to pull that up. The user interface, obviously, from from a remote control is was a little bit difficult to navigate. But these are the types of things that are going to be available to our kids in this country. So for the first time in the history of this country, under this regime or under the leadership of the president, our students will now have access to first-class educational materials. I mean, I'm a software engineer myself. That was my original thing, even though I minored in electrical engineering. And so the concept is now kids across the world can learn programming. Kids in Sierra Leone can go to any of these sites and take any course, even in physics. We often have shortages of professionals in the universities, in the schools, in the secondary schools, like my alma mater, Bo School. We had a science teacher, one chemistry, or I think he was a chemistry teacher also, that died, and it was very difficult to replace that guy. People don't want to move around the country, everybody is probably staying in the city. But with this, you could do e-education, wherein one teacher, with the fiber, with the dawn of the fiber, one teacher can teach a certain lesson all over the country. You don't have to, if teachers don't want to move, they can stay in Freetown, and they can even record through web portals. You can record their classes, and those classes can be taught to these kids all over the country. So we'll increase our science enrollment, we'll increase the interest of our kids in science and technology, so that we can make Sierra Leone a better country. Yeah. I want to tell Sierra Leoneans that SALCAB, in collaboration with NATCOM and the Ministry of Information and Communication, is going to connect all the universities in Sierra Leone. Okay. We have a 90 days to maybe 120 days to complete this task. Okay. What we want to do is we want to provide free Wi-Fi, and that's just phase one. Okay. Phase two, we'll connect all government high schools with internet. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 2 schools from each province, province, and then we'll do 4 schools in Freetown. Okay. So once we finish the secondary schools, we'll also migrate down to the primary schools. So again, folks, I was in the diaspora. I came back home to help. I know there are many of you out there, people with intention and ambition to come and help their country. Please don't hesitate. I came back here with my whole family. None of us died. We're all here. We're healthy. I believe if you come back to help Mama Salon, tomorrow you sit back in retrospect and say that it is worthy to sacrifice myself for my country so that we can see a better tomorrow. America was not just built like it was built by people who believe that they should build a nation where they will be free, where they can worship freely, where all the dignities and every dream of every human being in terms of providing shelter, food, and health, and all of the other aspects that we need as human beings to survive. So come home, come help build Mama Saloon. Don't just stay out there in parties after a couple of drinks, whether a beer or whiskey, you solve all the problems of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is not APC, Sierra Leone is not SLPP, Sierra Leone doesn't belong to any party. It belongs to all of us. Let us come home, put our hands together, put all hands on deck, help the government of the day build the country. We owe this to our own children. Some of us in the diaspora, I was out there for 25 years. We always criticize, the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that. Whether it's APC or SLPP, there will be one faction saying this, one group saying that. It's not about party. Let us come home. Let us come home to help our country develop. If you don't come home, who is going to do it? Some of us sacrifice. I came here, I'm getting 1/5 of the salary that I used to get. Some of you out there know me, and you know what I was doing out there. So if I sacrifice myself, sell my whole family to come to this country to help develop it, I think you can do the same thing. I'm talking to you.
Yes,
you can do the same thing. So please come home. Don't say, oh, well, I don't have this. No. When you come to Sierra Leone, yes, initially you'll be up here because you call JC, and then eventually you dive down. And a lot of people, as soon as they dive down, what they do, instead of fighting to rebound, they run back home, they run back outside to the US or to Europe or wherever they came from. The secret is this: when you come home, make up your mind that things are gonna get worse before they get better.
Yeah.
And once you have that ambition, you can help develop your country. So guys, ladies, come on. You are all invited. Salona Wiyon, Leone Fiber Optic.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
God bless you, sir, Mr. Sheriff.
Thank you.